objectives.
Okay, go ahead.
What is the main purpose of the result and discussion? What are the content of a result and discussion, the do's and don'ts in making a result and discussion, and lastly, to know how to provide a good result and discussion in a research. What is the difference of results versus discussion? So, in the results, we include the experimental data, but not the interpretation. And incorporate statistic analysis where applicable, follow sequence organization when presenting data, include text, figures, and tables, and avoid speculations. While the discussion is explain any surprising, unexpected, or inclusive results, list all the major findings of your study, interprets and explain the findings effectively, mention limitation, if any, relate to what others have done. What is the purpose of a results section? Number one, the results section summarize and present the findings of the study to put them in context with your research questions. And the second is the study data should be presented in a logical sequence without bias or interpretation. Findings may be reported in written, text, tables, graphs, and other illustration. In result, it includes experimental data, but not interpretation. Incorporate statistical analysis where applicable. It includes quantitative and qualitative. Follow sequential organization when presenting data, includes testing text, figures, and tables, and avoid speculations. Follow the sequence organization when presenting data, includes text, figures, and tables, and these are the examples of the tables, figures, and tables. What are the difference between qualitative and quantitative data? In quantitative research, structured data, statistical analysis, objective conclusion, surveys, experiments, while qualitative research, unstructured data, summary, subjective conclusion, interview, focus groups, and observation. So quantitative research, it is expressed in a number and graphs. It is used to test or confirm theories and assumptions. This type of research can be used to establish, generate facts about topic. Commonly, quantitative methods includes experiments, observation, recorded as numbers, surveys with close-ended questions. And lastly, it is at risk for research bias, includes information bias, omitted variable bias, sampling bias, or selected bias. Now let's go with qualitative research. Qualitative research is expressed in words. It is used to understand concepts, thoughts, or experiences. These types of research enable to gather in deep insights on topics that are not well understood. Common qualitative methods includes interviews with open-ended questions, observations, describes in words, and literature reviews that explore concepts and theories. Qualitative research, it is also a risk for certain research bias, including the Hawthorne effect, observer bias, recall bias, and social desirability bias. Result and finding section do's. Number one, do provide clear topic sentences that connect your findings to your research question. Number two, do take time to establish key findings in connection to your research questions. Number three, do include any negative findings, as failing to do so would hurt your credibility as a scholar. Number four, do include statistical significance tests if applicable. Results or findings section is don'ts. Don't attempt to discuss, interpret, or analyze your findings within the results sections. Number two, don't use vague terms or generalizations when presenting your findings. Always be specific. Don't present raw data that can be summarized or presented visually. Number four, don't present that same data multiple times but decide on one format to best convey it. Five, don't present data that is not relevant to your research questions. No. Then we can move to discussion. What is the purpose of the discussion section? The discussion reviews the findings and puts them into the context of overall research. It brings together all the section that came before it and allows a reader to see the connection between each part of the research paper. A discussion section will tell a reader why the researcher results are important and where they fit in the current literature, while also being self-critical and candid about the shortcomings of the study. The authors engage in three necessary steps, starting interpretation, next to analysis, and lastly, explanations. How does discussion section differ from conclusion? Conclusion is a summarized part of the paper, while the discussion, it requires the author to interpret those results by looking at how or why they are the way they are. In conclusion is brief and touches on the main points of the paper. The discussion is much longer and more detailed. So it is the space where the author acknowledges the limit of the research and identifies the gaps for future research. And lastly, the discussion section, they investigate the implication of the research based on the findings and results, and it draws meaningful conclusion from those implications. How is a discussion section structured? Number one, summarize the key findings from the research and link them to the initial research questions. In here, seek to answer this question. What should reader take away from this paper? Next, place the finding in text. This step will involve going back to the literature review section and analyzing how the result fit in with previous research. Then third, mention and discuss any unexpected results. Describe the results and provide a reasonable interpretation of why they may have appeared. Additionally, if an expected result is significant to the research question, be sure to explain the connection. How is a discussion section structured? In the fourth, address limitation or weaknesses in the research. Addressing limitation helps build your credibility as a writer because the reader sees that you have thought critically about what your study does and does not cover. And provide a brief look at the potential follow-up research study. In here, in this part, recommended a few areas where further investigation may be crucial. However, don't go overboard with the suggestions as they can leave a reader thinking more about the gaps in the paper rather than the actual findings. Conclude with a statement of the most significant findings and their implication. Here, we can explain why the research is important and remind readers of the connection it has to outside materials such as existing literature or an aspect of field that is affected by the study. So in here, what should be avoided in a discussion section? Number one, don't rewrite the result section. A discussion section does not go over the most significant result, but it also must provide interpretation and analysis instead of a simple summary of the findings. Second, don't draw conclusion from the findings without support. All the explanations of the key results should be firmly backed up by evidence found in the paper's data or references. Remember, to stay within the bound of the study, don't speculate or wander into another discipline without support. What should be avoided in discussion section? The third one is don't bring up new information. In this part, discussion is about examining the information about presented earlier in the paper. Adding new information in this section will confuse a reader or derail the flow of ideas. If new information does come up, put in the result section. And fourth, don't cherry pick the result to analyze. Some result and findings won't answer the research question, won't answer it in the way they were expected to, or will be simply unexpected. That's perfectly fine. A discussion section is simply the place to write about why or how this may have happened. Avoid ignoring those results in favor of only the ones that support your research question. That's all, sir. Thank you.
Okay, so okay. Of course, in thesis writing, no, results and discussion section is a critical component where you present and interpret the findings of your research. No? So we need to look into the overviews of its significance and its structure. Of course, number one is the presentation of results. No? The result section begins by presenting the outcomes of your research in a clear and systematic manner. This typically involves summarizing your data using tables, the figures, and descriptive statistics. The goal is to provide readers with a comprehensive overview of your findings, highlighting the key patterns, trends, and relationship observed in the data. Another is the interpretation and analysis. No? Following the presentation of results, the discussion section delves deeper into the interpretation and analysis of the findings. Here, you contextualize your results within the broader framework of existing literature and theoretical concept relevant to your research. So, you discuss the implications of your findings, explaining their significance and how they contribute to advancing knowledge in your field. Addressing research question or your hypothesis. In the results in discussion section, you revisit the research question or hypothesis outlined in your thesis introduction. You assess to what extent your findings align with or diverge from your initial expectation, provide the explanation for any discrepancies observed, and this analytical process helps readers understand the relevance and validity of your research outcomes. Another is the comparative analysis, no? Because depending on the nature of your study, you may engage in comparative analysis, no? Comparing your results with those of previous studies or alternative methodologies. By contextualizing your findings within the broader literature, you demonstrate your understanding of the research landscape and contribute to ongoing scholarly debates. And lastly is the limitations and, of course, the future directions. Finally, research and discussion section concludes by addressing any limitations or constraint encountered during the research process. So you reflect on the potential impact of these limitations on the validity and generalizability of your findings, highlighting avenues for future research to address these shortcomings. This reflective aspect demonstrates your critical thinking skills and contributes to the advancement of knowledge in your field. So therefore, the results and discussions section of the thesis serve as a platform for presenting, interpreting, and analyzing the research findings in structured and meaningful manner. By effectively communicating the significance of your results and engaging in critical discourse with existing literature, you demonstrate your scholarly rigor and contribute to the advancement of knowledge in your respective fields. Okay? So I think that's it.